Honestly.
Honestly, and honestly, we had to come back soon because India have declared at 181 for 2 when Ishan Kishan got to his maiden 50. The target now for the West Indies is 365. But much more importantly, 37 overs to last today and 98 overs tomorrow. So essentially 135 overs for the West Indies to make
To
365
survive.
runs
Or survive.
or 10 wickets needed for India in that stipulated time period. So remember, today you are going to see a very extended session, 3:30 a.m. IST. That is what we are going to extend play till 2.5 hours today. Then tomorrow, let's see how many inroads the West Indies team can make.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Indian
So
team, looking at it,
you're looking at 2.5 hours of cricket, and now
yes,
it'll be non-stop cricket provided the rain gods want it to be that way. Otherwise, though, for India, they'll have their tails up. And as Siddharth and I were talking to you guys just about a short while back, we were talking of what the target would be for India, and we had a poll as well. We had a poll in which many of you suggested that India could be looking at somewhere around a 350 run, or rather, in fact, let me stand corrected here, because most of you had said, I remember, that 400 is what India would be looking at.
Yep.
But look what's happened now, 356.
365.
365.
All days of the year.
All days of the year. Yeah, 365. That's what Team India have gone with. And the West Indies now will only have to bat and bat and bat.
I mean, remember, if they can apply themselves with the way how the top order, especially Craig Brathwaite did, how Alec Athanas did, and Kirk McKenzie did, do not count the West Indies out. I mean, let us not take them very, very lightly. Because 135 overs, 365, they have dangled the carrot. 2.4, that is the required run rate that the West Indies will want. And considering the fact,
But, it won't be easy.
It
It
won't.
won't be easy. See, the way the Indians batted in the second innings, clearly this isn't something which was easy,
Yeah.
because Ishan Kishan found it difficult to get started. Shubman Gill tried to switch gears, wasn't quite as successful as his captain was.
Yep.
But credit to Ishan Kishan, credit where it's due. It took him a while to get started. He wasn't middling the ball well, and guess what? He gets to his maiden test with 50 with a single-handed six. That's how fortunes change at time. And if it's your day, that they say in cricket, well, then things do work out for you. And Rohit Sharma was waiting. The camera was time and again cutting across to Rohit Sharma, because once
who did not do a Ben Stokes, by the way.
Hugh did not do a Ben Stokes, and waited for his Mumbai Indians teammate, and his one can say one of those players he's really bagged since a very young age, and that is Ishan Kishan. He wanted Ishan to get off the mark in the first test match in Dominica. He wanted Ishan Kishan to get to his maiden test 50 as well. And if it wasn't for Ishan Kishan's swashbuckling innings, India's declaration would probably not have come so early, number one. Number two, India would not have gotten to a score that they now have managed to get.
Yes, so, but then there are a lot of questions asking us about Shubman Gill. 29 of 37 with just one boundary. So the question is that what Ankar Biswas and also Suresh Kumar is also asking. What was Shubman Gill doing?
See, if you see, there was intent from Shubman Gill as well. I think he got a little unlucky in the sense he was finding the fielders all the time. So was Ishan Kishan, by the way, until he started taking the aerial route. And remember, it was only those couple of boundaries that he got off Warwicken, which was right over his head. There was one time, in fact, he could have been caught as well. But again, those catches, you just need those catches to stick.
Yeah.
It wasn't to be the case. But the kind of field set as well that the West Indies had, clearly, it was a packed field with players fielding mostly on the ropes. It's not easy, let's say, because we saw that, remember, in the Ashes as well.
Yeah.
You had done that with England as well, and fielders were there at the back. You can't. You were either end up holding out, or of course, then the only option left is you go for those aerial and those lofted shots. And once that started to happen, the couple of those boundaries came,
Yes.
that 106 came. And
Shades
then
of Rishabh Pant in that. Even
shades of Rishabh. In fact, couple of times he was trying to play the ball on the leg side, and this was in early stages of Ishan Kishan's inning, where I could see Rishabh Pant. At times when you would say, even when the ball wasn't quite, or if it wouldn't quite pitch for it to be hit, Rishabh would take its chances.
Yep.
Ishan was doing pretty much the same today.
So, Ishan Kishan got a 50. Fine. So, there, I think the debate over his position kind of is tempered down for the time being.
More than that, Siddharth, more than that, I feel the decision to promote him paid off.
Paid off, yes. I mean, remember, he's coming to bat at number 4. He got a promotion ahead of a certain Virat Kohli, ahead of a certain Ravindra Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja also can do these kind of things. But again, they trusted Ishan Kishan to do it, and that's why now 52 runs, 2 sixes, 4 boundaries, and he got those sixes. He got his milestone with a couple of sixes. I mean, 2 sixes of Kemar Roach, and that's why now Ishan Kishan, let us just say, okay, this was fine. But now everybody is hailing that this is a very, very brave declaration that the team management has done. 365. If the Indian bowlers don't step up, and remember, West Indies against England, if you look at it in Leeds 2017, they chased down 322 when no one expected them to.
Yep.
Now, whether they have said, okay, we don't have that much confidence in the Windies batters, that's why we expect them to roll them over. Is that the case?
And before I answer that, sir, I have a question for you, and
Yeah.
I would want you to answer that. I think, and I am of the firm opinion here, that India under Virat Kohli would not have made this declaration. Do you agree?
But wasn't he much more proactive when it came to
No,
these kind of
but
things?
when it was about enforcing follow-ons, when
Yeah.
it was about taking that little bit of a chance, Virat would have that safety-first approach. If Virat Kohli was captain at the moment, I think India would have then be looking at maybe a 390, 400. Maybe I think, and
Don't you think the Lord's Test at 2021, in which there was a smaller target but there were less overs, don't you think that was the example of proactivity in Virat's case then? Because I think he looked at the situation in which he could think that, okay, I back my bowlers to take all the 10 wickets.
he always did. But then there were times I remember, let's say, in fact, even I think it was that Afghanistan.
No, not the
No,
Afghanistan.
no.
I
But-
think you are talking about Australia,
But
maybe somewhere in the
because there
2017
were
period.
times that Virat could have enforced the follow-on, but under Virat Kohli we saw that follow-ons would not be enforced, which is where I felt that Virat was always that captain who would 100% avoid, let's say, a loss and only then go in with those decisions once he was assured that that wasn't a possibility. So I like the fact that this was Rohit Sharma's decision.
Exactly.
And a little bit of a brave decision as well, which is in many ways also indicating that you have a lot of trust in your bowlers as well.
Bowlers, yes. Although, let me tell you that Jaidev Unadkat has struggled, but Mohammad Siraj and Mukesh Kumar were very impressive. Then the two spinners in Ashwin and Jadeja, you know that is. But again, it seems as if you can just go down a bit and scroll what is the situation, because I have a feeling that the rain is back in Port of Spain, and yes, it's bringing the covers on. We are now in for a delay now. Whatever was the plan.
But I don't think you can still extend beyond 3:30
No, you can't.
a.m.
You can't.
IST.
No.
You can't do that. So that pretty much still remains the cutoff. Now for India though, what they'd want is that the rain gods show some mercy.
After an hour, because looking at all the weather
They've been
forecast that
minimum
is
an
there,
hour.
there has at least been a minimum 1
1
hour
hour.
delay when it comes to the rain here. So you had a rain delay in the first session, you had a rain delay in the second session, now the third session also, the rain is back. Now this means that India will have to really bowl out of their skins to get the wickets, because remember, the weather in day 5 also, it's the
Pretty much
same
the same.
kind of the situation. So
But India have done their bit.
Yeah.
Let's face it here. India have done their bit as far as forcing result is concerned. They were good with the ball in the first hour of play today, and whatever they could have done with the bat as well. There was a lot of aggression showed from Rohit Sharma.
Yeah.
That was only taken forward by Ishan Kishan
Yep.
and Yashasvi as well. Let's not forget. He also got some quick runs there. So I think India, whatever that they could have done both with the bat and the ball, have done.
have done
On
now
this
it's up to
particular day.
Indradev to ensure that there is no not much of delay. But remember, the number 364, what does it remind you? It's got a very close relationship with Virat Kohli. Can you guess, Harshad, what was it? 364 Adelaide, the first time he captained. That was the target that India needed on day 5. And then after that, we saw the masterclass that he put on. I mean, 141 of the best runs. If you thought Tendulkar 1999, that 136 that he got in Pakistan was heartbreaking, this was also heartbreaking. I mean, for that knock to go on a loss to India, it was really, really heartbreaking. But yes, that was the arrival of Virat Kohli, the alpha male when it came to contributions, when it came to batting, when it came to fitness. And that's how we are. But now the rain has come again.
Lots and lots of questions
Yep.
from you. We'll try taking
Yeah.
most of those questions. Just what's Akhil saying? Akhil
Akhil
says,
Sharma saying, at time Max Virat captain WTC setup was not there. So his main goal was to win series, but now we have to look at the bigger picture, not just one match. Yeah, I do agree, Akhil. I do agree with that point that yes, unfortunately there was no structure in place. You just had to win bilateral series and that's why you could just go ahead and get the maze. But then now you have a WTC final after the end of a 2-year cycle. It's a good innovation, I would feel, but then somehow the only flaw is not all teams play the same number
way.
of games. That's the problem. Arun Tej is saying Virat would have declared at rain break during tea around 281 score. Don't forget, the same Virat had gone for a win at Adelaide in 2014 fifth day. 281, but then again, that would have been too risky.
281 would have been very, very. That's Arun Teja saying that?
Yeah,
no,
Arun
Arun, I
Tej-
think
no.
that would have been. That would have actually, been doing what a Stokes, let's say, did with that declaration.
Oh,
which
yeah,
was
Edge
near
Baston.
Edgbaston. But again, you don't expect early declarations from any Indian captain, let's say. You can have delayed declarations at times. You can have well-timed declarations, but an early or premature declaration you won't see in Indian
Ben
cricket.
Stokes found that out the hard way.
way,
That's
yes.
why it's going to be a very, very big problem. And then Harsh Khatri saying if India wins this game, it will be better than the first test. Yeah, I mean, because the weather ensured that you got it to the 5th day. And that's why you're racing against the weather. That's why if you win this, it is a great, great feat indeed. But yeah, take nothing away from Dominica also. I mean, you needed the skill to ensure that the West Indies were bowled out twice in 150 and 130. Ashwin, the superstar. And Saurav Kumar is saying, what is happening? Is there every game not affected by rain today? What is happening? Is there any game not affected by rain? He's like so frustrated by the rain. I mean, yeah.
Then was the emerging Asia match? Was
No,
that
that
affected?
wasn't,
So there was one game though. Then that wasn't affected.
All
by
the
rain.
international games, all the major international games. So Ashes was impacted, and that's
But
the
there were
reason why-
international players playing in the emerging Asia Cup.
No, India didn't have.
India didn't have. Pakistan did.
See, that is the thing. It needed the might of Pakistan's international players to beat India. What about that for a nationalistic spin to it? So India, unfortunately, emerging Asia Cup, but it's been the end of a very, you may say, a very, very torrid Super Sunday. I mean, it started off, it was a rain.
Ask Siddharth about that.
I mean-
He's had a long, long day.
I mean, if you look at it, started off with the ultimate crescendo with the with the Korea Open title for Satvik Sairaj, Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty, but now it's dipped because of the loss that India had to Pakistan in the emerging Asia Cup.
But so much happened. We were.
You've seen the entire gambit.
Exactly. Yeah, at a point, there was something. There was on the phone. There were 2-3 other screens which we had on. So it's been a hectic day. It's been a Super Sunday in the truest sense. And
Grenville
hope-
Day, Rogo was saying ICC should keep a reserve day for test match in case of rain playing spoil sport. No, Grenville.
Can't happen.
Logistically, it is not
Very
possible.
difficult. Also, look at the schedules. Look at the schedule. Between the first and the second test match, there was a 4-day gap.
Forget that. If you have a reserve day, which is on 25th, your ODI begins on the 27th.
Yeah. Now you start keeping that for every test match. Then it can't happen. The gap between 2 test matches will then reduce. At times, team have to travel, and there is so much logistics to take care of, finances to take care of as well. It's not financially feasible. Also, many a times. So those are some of the hurdles. Teams cannot go ahead and plan some of their tours in that case. So bookings cannot happen. So
It's
all
a
of that.
nightmare. And remember, when you had to look at India in the ICC ODI World Cup, they announced the schedule 100 days before. No one will tell you the logistical nightmares that everyone will have to face coming to India. And you're already seeing the horrors that is happening in Ahmedabad. People are booking hospital beds.
Hospital beds are being now booked because hotels. Sorry.
No hotels. So that's why it's going to be madness. You're going to see a whole lot of these situations happen. And that's why no reserves day, please. Only for major ICC finals. That too if it's impacted by rain. So that's why. Harsh Khatri, Ashes was such a dampener. Reason cricket will never be a global sport. But what can you do if it is raining?
Can't find the weather. How can you fight the weather?
Either you then have such a big revamp that you make all the stadiums indoor stadiums.
But that also, we've seen times, and I can't recall which game, Siddharth, maybe you would. There's this one time, I think you were playing at the MCG and then
Docklands.
Hussey had also hit the ball, it hit the roof. Now, what do you do?
The Docklands Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is the thing. I'm sure Arun Tej, I'm sure West Indies will choke on the 5th day. All our bowlers need one session. Not on this wicket, Arun. I don't think it will be easy to get all 10 wickets in one session. I don't think so. At max, you will need 2 sessions. Max 2 sessions, because this is a very sluggish wicket. You'll have to bend your back to get wickets here.
And let's not forget, in the whole of yesterday, you had just 4 wickets being taken by the same Indian side.
Yep.
It took something special from Mohammad Siraj to trigger that collapse of the West Indies. So you really need to give at least 2 sessions to these, and that also is a very optimistic this thing. You're not giving anything to the West Indies in that case if you're expecting 2 sessions all for the West Indies.
By the way, so far, have you noticed that on all the odd days of this test match, you've seen 7 wickets fall?
Okay.
Oh, no. On the even days, you've seen 7 wickets fall. On the odd days, you had 4 wickets falling. Day 1, 4 wickets. Day 2, 7 wickets. Day 3, 4 wickets. Today also 5 plus 2 so far, 7 wickets have fallen. So
that, by the way, if that is anything to indicate, then Siddharth has just said that there won't be any more play in that case.
I hope that we get a decision on that soon. Yeah. Okay, the 4th inning should begin shortly. Covers are being peeled off. And
Lovely
so
then.
We now have, what is the time? It's 1:10.
It is 1:10.
2 hours and 20 minutes of play.
Yes.
That is, yes. And this is the fastest India has played any test. Sportsman saying, yes, it is the fastest 100 scored by a team ever. 12 overs, they've got it in 100 runs. It is the fastest. So yes, you are right in that sense. So today, prediction, what do you think, Harshit? Will we get 3-4 wickets, or do you think West Indies are surviving this?
I think I'm looking at 2 wickets at least.
2 wickets. 2 wickets, that means tomorrow 8 wickets plus the weather. You are looking at a very close finish. Then.
Yeah.
Not in the terms of margin, but time.
Time, yes. Time will be of essence tomorrow.
Yep. So we will be back for the final stump session that will begin at 3:30 a.m. IST. Could be called off earlier if the light doesn't hold up. So from me and Harshit here, it's good night. We will just, 26 overs left, Harsh. Yep, indeed.
Yeah.
So bye-bye. Tap that bell icon so know when we go live.